News TV. I am your host, AZ Hubbard, and today we are talking about going the wrong way. What's really happening in the church? What's really happening? Oh, in the church. Hold on for a second. I got my light fell down. My light fell down. I'm moving too much. Okay. I thought I was back. I'm having technical difficulties, people. Hold tight. Hold tight. Okay. I'm back this time. Okay, I'm back. I was talking about what was happening in the church, what's really happening in the church. And I guess I'm gonna have to cut out part of that. But the technical difficulties, it happens to the best of us. And it is what it is. So anyway, let's get into um Lord dropping my phone. I got the dropsies. The news today, there's a lot. We're talking about Greg Locke. He's clapping back on these people that came out and said that he was spiritual abuse and malpractice and financial indiscretions with the funds of the church. So we talked about it briefly day before yesterday, and but today we are definitely talking about it more in depth. As you know, if you watch the other video, and we'll try to link it up here. Is it here or is it here? I will link the video, and we talked about it. And one of my concerns was, you know, if you are leaving the church, okay, and they're doing all that, the resignation letter was 5 pages long. They never really one particular incident except for something about going to the shop. She took for nails, all the ladies again, and her, the wife wasn't invited. But other than that, there was no documented incidents of spiritual abuse. Then I don't even think that's spiritual abuse. And I also stated that I found it different that he would put they would write a book, and they would write in the book prior to um their resignation. But anyway, Greg Locke clapped back. He said, "No, y'all ain't gonna do this to me." And as you know, I am not a big fan of Greg Lott, or anyone that, as far as that matter is concerned. I don't know. I don't follow their ministry, so it is what it is. But Greg Locke said, "No, not today." So the Royce Report did an article on it, and it goes on to say that after the husband and wife team resigned on December 9th from Gridlock Central Tennessee Church, Locke fired back on Sunday saying they are trying to destroy the work of God. Okay. So Greg Locke says, no, they're trying to destroy the work of the Lord. So um me finish reading this article. In a fiery tirade that lasted about 30 minutes, Locke said he was take these allegations of spiritual abuse, financial mismanagement, and lack of accountability lying down. I was going to be real calm and humble, Locke told the congregation at Global Vision Bible Church in Lebanon, due east of Nashville. But I'm sick of people trying to destroy the work of God over a bunch of lies and a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of foolishness. So Greg Locke is coming in hot, hot, hot. He is coming in hot. He is hot. Okay. He says, Justin and Casey Greenwell, formerly the online pastors at the church, posted their resignation letter online, as previously reported by TRR. Although Locke clearly referred to the Greenwells in his statement, he did not by name because quote, because I wish them no evil, wish them no harm, unquote. Yeah, so he's like they are. He wish no evil, wish no harm. But like I said, Greg Locke came in hot. He is mad and he is not taking it anymore. Okay, so Locke also continued to go on and say that their allegations of financial misconduct and lack of transparency, saying, "quote Any person in the church that gives a dime to this church can see the books anytime they want to. We've always said that nobody asked," end quote. Well, now, Greg Law, I just don't know whether I believe that or not, because a lot of times people they are interested in what's going on behind the scenes. And you have a huge congregation, and for you to say, no, nobody has ever asked to see the books. I don't believe that, Greg Locke, but okay. If you say so, you say so. But what do I know? Okay. He also said that it goes on, the article goes on to say, however, the Greenwalds told TRR they asked Locke repeatedly to see the books, but he refused. TRR has reached out to Locke multiple times in the last week via email and phone asking to see the church's financial records. The pastor has yet to reply. Okay, so now he did say that if you gave a dime, you able to see the books. And yeah, just ever given a dime can see the book. So they said, okay, then well, I'll send a email. And they said, which is the Roy's report, said they sent an email last week multiple times to see the books via email and phone, and they have not received a reply. But my question is, Julie Royce, have donated any money? So if you haven't donated any money, that's maybe that's why he haven't sent you anything, or we don't know. Keep plugging and try to find out exactly what's happening and why this is what it is. Okay. So Locke said Locke also took aim at the Greenwell's announcement that they plan to publish a book about their experiences at the church. He claimed they started writing this book while still at Global Vision's payroll. Well, what they do on their personal time, Greg Locke, is like so they can write a book or whatever they want to. They shouldn't be held uh if they were writing the book on your time on the church's dime, then okay. But if they are doing it on their time, then you know it is what it is. Okay. But I do have a question about the timing of the resignation and the timing of the book. Oh, you finish the book and then you give the resignation, even though they said they didn't make any money, haven't made any money off the book. Well, the book hasn't been released. They're taking pre-orders. Also, you stir up a PR storm before, so to get everybody interested in what's in the book, because most of the time, if they hadn't resigned and these stories hadn't come out, nobody would be looking for their book and be interested in reading their book. You see what I'm saying? So, we have to question the timing. A lot of people, the Greenwalds responded Tuesday to Locke's remark in a 3-hour long episode of the Cumbies Network. a YouTube channel that shares faith based interviews. The now former pastor said that they haven't received a dime, any book deal. Well, um, okay. Like I just said, a lot of people are just that smear campaign, Casey Greenwald, through our path of repentance. And and we journey through that path of repentance, not only with the Father, but also with the people. What Locke says about finances, Locke says that he shared everything with his church finances with his staff on Saturday evening, and that he emphasized that global vision takes stewardship seriously. These books will show you that every decimal and dime went exactly where it was supposed to go, Locke said. He said he was accused by the media of stealing from the church. TRR previously reported that Locke bought $1 million home around the time a deal for the church to buy a new building fell through due to the lack of funds. The failed deal prompted accusations that Locke used money from the church's building to buy the home. So I remember that. I know a lot of you all remember that. So let's get it. He also accused Love's Way Church, the ministry that owned the property Global Vision tried to buy, of keeping the escrow money involved in the sale. TRR reached out to Love Ways for comments, and they have not heard back prior to publication. It's one thing, these people that do not like to get back to you, they don't get back to you. They say things in statements, but when the press reach out for comment, reach out for a statement, they do not have a statement. Let's hold on for 1 second. Hold on. Yes. When my what's the name fell, it just created all kinds of issues for me. So we're trying to get back on track with this. Okay. So, all right. Why do I look like I'm just I'm really shrunk here now? Hold on, everybody. I might have to do this video without the going to get her done. Yes. I changed equipment and things are okay. We're just gonna have to stay like this then. About what happened really in the church. Okay, so Locke says alleged that he has given the church around $2 million of the last 3 years from his book sales and his media company, Locke Media. We could be millionaires if we want, he said. He everything to this church that the staff members said that we are robbing from them. Locke claimed that he makes only $65,000 a year as his role from Global Vision Ministries. So, that's what he says his salary is. And he also says that he and his wife have given the Greenwalds extensive amounts of money. Okay. That he has given them $91,000, he and his wife, $91,000 for their home payment, down payment for them to purchase a home. That's a lot of money. Okay, $91,000 for the house down payment and $2,400 a month to cover their children's Christian school bill. Okay, so it seemed like Greg Locke and his wife has been pouring financially into the Greenwalds, and it just seemed to be something different. The Greenwalds responded to that in that episode regarding what the Locke says about the book show. The church received large cash donations that go unreported. Wow. So the Greenwalds are saying, yeah, the books might show one thing, but there are a lot of money that's coming through this ministry that's cash that's not being reported. So I find that interesting because, that's a big accusation. Um Concerning the house down payment, the Greenwalds confirmed that they took the money, but say they regret taking it. They said they took the money, but oops, I'm sorry I took the money. Okay, all right. Yeah, if you say so, you sorry you took the money. But did you return the money? Okay, they said we didn't even know whether it was coming from the pastor or it was coming from the ministry, Casey said. We probably should have asked some more questions before we received it. You think? I mean, when you accept $91,000, I don't see how they accepted that without asking some questions, because you have to report that when you buy a house, whether it's a gift, your down payment is a gift, then you got to report to the Internal Revenue Service. I mean, how you accept that kind of money? I mean, anything over $10,000, and now even if you get over $600, even in a cash app, they're sending out an invoice telling you, you have to report that. So how is it that you get $9,000 one lump sum and you don't know where it's coming from and you don't report it? Come on now, girl. Y'all, come on now, Casey, come on, girl. Come on, come on. And then I just got issue with this. And again, like I said, I am not trying to take up for Greg Locke, but if you accept $1,000 and you tell me you don't know where it came from, whether it came from the ministry or whether it came from Greg Locke, to believe. But if anybody wanted to send me $91,000, here's my cash app down there, okay? But $91,000 to receive is a lot of money to just not know where that money came from, whether it came from the church or whether it came from Greg Lott and his wife. And you know that you have to report it on your income tax. You know that you have to report it when it comes to um a down payment for a house, because the finance company want to know where you got your down payment from so they can know whether or not you can afford to pay for that house. So as much as the Greenwald's trying to, spill the tea and everything, like the judges say, their hands aren't clean either. This is crazy work. Okay, so um they didn't know where the money came from. The couple said they now view the down payment as, quote, purchase loyalty, unquote. Nah, y'all can't say, y'all took that money. I don't know how long ago it's been. You haven't raised any questions about it until Greg Lott says something about it. So I miss me with that. Miss me with that. Okay. And then they also added that the Locks gave other staff members similar large house down payments and car payments or home birth payments. Well, okay, so I don't understand. What's the problem? Okay. You said that they had favoritism, but they gave you along with everybody else. I'm just trying to get to the real deal, the bottom line of this, because again, if you're going to tell a story, tell the whole story. Don't use selective conversations about this person or that person, or this happened or that happened. Tell the host is happening here, okay? Um And then he said, every person has a price, Casey Greenwell said. There was plenty of times where things weren't right. And you always had that thing in the back of your mind. Like, I can't go against these people. Like, they did this wonderful thing for me. Like, if it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't be in my house. Okay. You think of that before you took the money? I, you know, okay, everybody in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I am looking at this the wrong way. People want to cry innocent when, $91,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. A lot. So, you know, no, you don't take that kind of money then act like you don't know nothing about it. You green, you innocent, you just this little you living in a Pollyanna world and no, I'm not buying it. Okay. Regarding the Christian school tuition, the Greenwald said that they receive several $100s a week as part of their pay for the church from the church for childcare. In response to the spiritual abuse allegations, in response to the allegations he spiritually abused his staff, Locke says that he has repeated being a lousy pastor during the time when his church met in the tent. But he likened Casey's allegation that his wife Ty created a cutthroat environment by choosing favorites and pitting people against one another as petty gripes. If you think you're going to drag this church through the mud, draw people out of it, and then publicly besmirch my wife, no reason, because you got your feelings hurt because you didn't get your nails done, and you're going to write a book about it, Locke said. Don't think for a second that as the shepherd, I am going to take this line down. Oh, wow. But she did say into that, you know, the Ty had taken all the ladies out to get their nails done, but she wasn't invited. So that must have really been a thorn in her claw. She did not get, to get her nails done, you know. All right. However, the said the spiritual abuse was real, and about 20 people have been fired from Global Vision in the last 4 years. Just because people get fired don't mean that there's spiritual abuse. They could be various. I'm not trying to take up for Greg Locke. Greg Locke have his issues, but I think that the Greenwells need to come correct with their real reasoning, and writing a 5-page vague letter just isn't it. And so, you know, it is what it is. That's what I say. It is what it is. We just talking about what's really happening in this church house, in these church streets. Casey said during the episode that it got to the point where she thought, I cannot keep doing this, looking people in the eye and being like, oh, yeah, this is a church that loves me. This is a church that wants the best for me. She continued, they look at people as assets to move the ministry machine forward, and they don't look at them as people that God has entrusted to them. Again, the Greenwells came with their allegations, and Greg Locke clapped back on $91,000 for their home as a down payment to the Greenwells. And they act like they don't know where the money came from. They don't know whether it came from Greg Locke or the church, and then they're innocent about it. It is crazy work to me. So it is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen. There's one quick thing that I want to show you all before we get to our next story. And that's on Instagram, which I think is really fantastic. And that is that Jesus takes center stage in the Times Square with the massive display. I think this is absolutely beautiful. I just wanted you all to see this. Enough craziness happens, but it's wonderful that they did the thing at the Times Square, and that's good money spent, I believe. So I think it's wonderful that they had. So I just wanted to take a little break into that. But now we're going to get into this other story. So you all like, share, and subscribe. I'm telling you, because I know why YouTube, when I'll be calling these people out, and they try to shadow ban my videos, or say that they're not suitable. And I have issues over on YouTube. But the thing of it is that these stories have to be told. They've got to be told. And fortunately, praise the living God, the mod, that YouTube is just, I really don't make that much, money on YouTube. And so I want to keep my channels, but it's not the source of my income. Praise God. Our platforms so um whereas I bring these stories there, it's to enlighten you and to bring you forward, and thank everybody that support the channel. But these stories have to be told, and we got to tell it. So this is coming from the New York Post. The New York Archbishop to sell the 490 million Manhattan property to fund the SA abuse settlements. Okay. Um, the Archdiocese of New York will sell the land beneath the luxury lot. Isn't that a strange name? Latte. Lot. Mm. New York Palace Hotel to the hotel owner for a colossal 490 million to fund the settlement survivors of the church SA abuse. News of this came mere days after the archdiocese agreed to negotiate a global settlement to compensate for roughly 1,300 people who have accused the priests and staff lay members of child SA. The sale would raise 300 million to cover the cost. See, now that's what I'm saying. These things do not profit. Okay, leave God's children alone and the children alone. People have donated to the Catholic Church, and now you have to sell it for y'all have done things against God, being an abomination and messing with children. Okay. Uh, so representatives of this hotel at 455 Madison Avenue did not immediately respond to the Post request for comment. The land is among the most valuable pieces of Archdiocese properties portfolio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this video. Let's show this video.
Sex abuse scandal that plagued the Catholic Church for decades.
The Archdiocese of New York planning to settle with 1,300 clergy sex abuse victims.
Okay, Fox 5 Sharon Crowley spoke with a lawyer for some of the victims and joins us now with more.
Yeah,
Sharon.
We have an update tonight from Timothy Cardinal Dolan. He says the Archdiocese of New York will be selling property and laying off staff to cover the cost of the $300 million settlement to compensate victims of clergy sex abuse who have sued the church. Cardinal Dolan said the Archdiocese will be rigid in selling off assets, and those include...
Okay. Stop playing with me. Okay, so
completing the sale of its former headquarters in Manhattan on First Avenue, and the Archdiocese also agreed to engage a retired judge as a mediator between itself and the victims to reach individual deals. A spokesperson for the Archdiocese says the church officials hope the fund would cover settlements for, if not all, of the roughly 1,300 outstanding claims against the Archdiocese. The Cardinal says, quote, "We are hoping these transactions will net a total of more than 300 million funds so they can be set aside to provide compensation to survivors of sexual abuse." Now, a lawyer representing some of the clergy's sex abuse victims says this offer is too little too late.
They knew the evidence, they knew the nature of the claims. They had all the information they needed to make fair compensation offers to these people in 2019, 2020, and very intentionally chose not to do so.
Well, some of the cases against the diocese are getting close to going to trial. This settlement, of course, would stop that from happening. The diocese says going forward, a mediator will be working to settle 1,300 claims against the New York Archdiocese, and we'll, of course, follow it for you.
Yeah, very well. All right. Thanks, Sharon.
Okay, then there you have it. They have it's 1,300 claims, and this is the cost of it. It's the cost of it. They have settled those claims, and what are they going to do going forward? Those are the settled claims. There's still more coming forth all the time. What are they going to do with that? Where are they going to get that money from? That's what we need to know. These pastors, these clergy, these popes, putentains, or whatever you want to call it, they need to stop playing with God, get their life right. And if you know you're not up to the task, sit down. Just sit down. We the people. We're tired. We're tired. Your foolishness. People stop giving to these people because run amok, and they are running amok with the funds that you're giving them, and they're running amok with abusing, spiritual abuse and malpractice. It is what it is. So anyway, everybody, this is a live. I'm trying to do more lives because I have not been doing lives. But I'm getting better, everybody. I used to do them all the time, at least once a week. But we're getting better. We're getting these things beat out, ran out. I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Tell me what you think of this and these stories. And we will be back with more coming up. All right, everybody. Oh, also, I put a video on a post explaining about the cost of food. Video that's from another source, and it breaks down how pricing is being structured possibly now. I'm not going to say it's so, but they've done a lot of research and using AI and the algorithm where everybody's not being charged the same thing. So make sure you check that out, because if that's what's happening, you need to contact your legislators, your representatives in your state, so that legislation needs to happen regarding that. But anyway, everybody, I want you to thank you so much for allowing me into your homes. You did not have to. I hope you have a blessed and prosperous day. And to God be the glory. Bye.